looking at watches, and I looked up, and when she saw this incredible specimen of a man, she smiled so friendly, and she's been keeping me smiling for 25 years. You think about the times you dealt with a stranger. Maybe you needed some help, and it was very intense, and all of a sudden they smiled. That communicated, I'm for you. It's all going to work out. Took the pressure off. You could relax. One time I was overseas in an airport going through customs and had a whole lot of television equipment with me, and I had registered it and done everything I was supposed to, but the customs officials didn't seem to be happy and didn't look like they were going to let me in. It was very pressured, and they went and got their supervisor, and he came back, and he was this big, gruff man, looked as solemn and serious as can be, and I was just very intense. But right in the middle of all that manager looked up and smiled, the most genuine smile at me you could imagine. I could feel my blood pressure go back down to normal. It changed the whole atmosphere. That's the power of a smile. It can communicate volumes without a word ever being spoken. Friends, we are called to be the light of the world. I believe the switch that turns the light on is a smile. Many people are not listening to what we say. They're watching how we live. We're supposed to be living epistles read by all men. That means they may not read the Bible, but they're reading our lives. I've heard it said, preach at all times, use words only when necessary. Let me ask you, when people see you, what kind of message are they getting? Are you happy, friendly, good-natured? Do they want what you have? Or are you stressed, grumpy, sour, discouraged? When we live like that, it's going to push people away. The other day, I was in a sporting goods store, and I went up to the counter to pay, and there were 3 registers open, and I just happened to go to the one in the center. I gave the man working there my product, and he seemed like he was perturbed that I chose him. And I'm just happy-go-lucky. It didn't bother me. I smiled anyway. He said, how you doing? He never said a word. He acted like I was bothering him. I gave him my credit card, and when he saw my name, he looked up and he said, are you that minister that's on television? By the way he said it, I didn't know if it's going to be a good thing or not. But I smiled and I said, yes, I am. He too said that he watches the program with his family each week and they enjoy it. And I thanked him for that. And as I was leaving, just in passing, I said, hey, come out and see us at Lakewood whenever you can. He said, no, Joe, I can't do that. I'm in charge of the greeting committee at my church. I got to be there every Sunday. I thought, my goodness, I wouldn't go to that church without a bulletproof vest on. He didn't realize it, but he was preaching a sermon. I hate to say it, but it wasn't a very good one. And sometimes when people say they love God and go out and treat people like that, it's doing more damage than it is good. If you're hard, grumpy, hard to get along with, do me a favor. Don't put a honk if you love Jesus bumper sticker on your car. That's going to make it harder on the rest of us. We need to pay attention to what messages that we're sending out. I love what one of our members told me. She was out shopping and went up to the counter to pay, and the girl working the register saw how happy she was. She had a big smile and radiated joy and peace and victory, just like she had a glow about her. That clerk asked her how she was doing. She said, I'm doing great. I'm blessed, and I'm expecting to have a fantastic year. The clerk looked at her and said, let me ask you, do you go to Lakewood? She said, I sure do. The clerk said, I should have known it. Everybody that comes in here like you is from Lakewood. I thought, what a great testimony, to be happy, to be full of joy, to have a smile on our face. It's funny, some people give me a hard time for smiling so much. You would think they'd be happy because you're happy. And one reporter said to me very sarcastically, Joel, do you get offended because people call you the smiling preacher? I said, not at all. I take it as a compliment. I'm guilty of being happy. I'm guilty of enjoying my life. I'm guilty of living with enthusiasm. Friends, the world needs more joy. When you express your joy, when you have a cheerful countenance, don't be surprised if people think, what's wrong with them? Why are they so happy? They must be high. Our attitude should be, yes, we're guilty. We're on the Most High. We're excited. We're happy. We're full of joy, full of faith, full of victory, excited about our future. This came easy for me because I was raised by people that were happy. I cannot ever remember walking into a room and seeing my grandmother and not having her smile at me. It didn't matter if I went into the room 50 times during the day, she would smile every single time. She was full of joy. My father was the same way. He would go through the house whistling all day long. My mother used to get kind of tired of it. She'd say, John, would you quit whistling for a little while? He'd say, Dodie, I'm just happy. I'm just giving God praise. She'd say, John, you're not giving God praise. You're whistling the tune to the Andy Griffith Show. Didn't matter. He kept his joy on display. It's interesting. Studies tell us that people only remember about 10% of what we say. But what they always remember is how they felt. You can say the right thing with the wrong attitude and they'll still remember the negative. But when you're happy, friendly, you got a smile, that's what makes a positive impact on people. 1983, I started the television outreach here at Lakewood for my father. The first year, we had a very experienced consultant that worked with us. He taught me something that I never forgot. We were watching my dad's sermon in the control room, and he had me turn down the volume. He said, now, Joel, the key to good communication is to see what kind of feelings you get without the sound, by just watching the facial expressions, the body language. We looked at several different ministers, and some of them were very passionate, but without the sound, they came off angry and hard and mean. It subconsciously pushed you away. The ones that had a smile and a pleasant demeanor, they were much more effective, much more likely to draw you in. It's the same principle in life. When you have a smile, when you're friendly, you're kind, that's going to cause you to be much more effective at what you do. I have people write all the time and say, Joel, I don't remember what the message was about, but what impacted me was the joy I saw on your face, the love that I felt coming from the screen. The scripture talks about how we are Christ ambassadors. That means we represent God down here on this earth. If we're going to represent God properly, we should do it with a smile, with joy, with enthusiasm. One time, Victoria and I were in Galveston, and we were walking down the street, going into the different shops. And Victoria went in this one place, and I decided to wait outside and just watch the people. A few moments, this lady about 2 or 3 blocks away started waving and waving at me. I didn't know who she was, but I started waving and waving back like she was my long-lost friend. A few minutes later, she had walked a little bit closer, and I looked up, and she started waving at me once again. I thought, well, we've done it once, but we'll do it again. I smiled and waved, just like I hadn't seen her in years. And put my hand down. A few minutes later, she was just 40 or 50 feet away, about where the cameras were, and I looked up. I couldn't believe it. She started waving more enthusiastically than ever. I thought, well, I'll join the fun. I put up both hands, started waving. Hey, how you doing? She walked over to me and she said, sir, do I know you? I said, I don't know. I'm waving at you because you're waving at me. She said, I'm not waving at you. I'm waving at my sister that's standing behind you. She patted me on the back and said, but you sure are a friendly young man. I'm asking you today to let your joy be seen. Quit laughing at me. You've done dumb things too. I'm going to get you up here next. If we're going to be the light of the world, we got to turn this switch on by being friendly. Get in a habit of smiling on purpose. Smile at the police officers when you leave instead of saying something else. Smile at the neighbors walking down the street. Smile at the lady at the grocery store. When things get difficult, learn to smile by faith. Don't wait for the feelings to come. Smile and the feelings will follow. Friends, you've been anointed with the oil of joy. You can live happier than those that are around you. Some of you, your oil has gotten low. I believe today is going to be a turning point. If you'll make that decision with me to brighten up, to put on a cheerful countenance, you'll feel the joy kick in. You'll step into a new level of God's favor. You'll not only be healthier, but you'll get better breaks. You'll see increase in promotion. And I believe and declare you will become everything God's created you to be. Amen. Do you receive it today?